Now, question 31. Question 31 asks that identify the following process from diagram. Now, diagram is of a process during the nitrogen fixation or actually a formation of nodule. So in this they have shown a particular stone, and like this they have diagram shown where some of the bacteria are present and some of the bacteria have entered within the cells. Now you know that when bacteria enter within the cell, they known as infection thread. So if we go with the option A is given as soil particles root hair. Yes, there is a particular, this is actually a nodule, there is in cells of a plant, there is not a cells of the soil particles, and root hair is there but soil particles are not there, so it cannot be there. Option B is given as hook and bacteria. Bacteria are there, hook is there, but that is not actually identify this one. C, the infection thread containing bacteria. Yes, infection thread is found in containing bacteria, so C is the correct. And D is given a mature nodule because they are entering, mature nodule has not formed, so C is the correct answer. Next is question 32. Question 32 asks that Woodward in 1669 observed that plant grew better in a muddy water than rainwater. Plant grew better in muddy water than in rainwater. Because option A, muddy water had most of essential element dissolved in it. So most of essential element, if most of essential element are there, it is not possible because some might have lost, so it cannot be the correct one. B is given as muddy water had micronutrient dissolved in it. If it is a micronutrient, it cannot provide all the essentiality. C, muddy water had macro element dissolved in it. Yes, it can be correct. Now because in rainy water are not capable to dissolve mineral, it drains fastly, and D is given as none of this, so C becomes the correct answer. Question 33. Question 33 asks that in which of the following all three are macronutrient. We have to select a macronutrient. Now if we go with the option A have a molybdenum, magnesium and manganese. Now if we talk about here, magnesium is a macronutrient, correct, but molybdenum is not a macronutrient, and manganese, that is particularly if we talk, that is also not a macronutrient. Now if we go with the B, in B nitrogen, nickel and phosphorus is given. Phosphorus is macronutrient, nitrogen is macronutrient, but nickel is not a macronutrient. Option C is given as boron, zinc and manganese. So manganese, if we talk, it is a micronutrient, it is not macronutrient. Zinc is also not macronutrient, and boron, if we talk, that boron is not a macronutrient, and D is none of this, so D is the correct answer because any of this set have no correct option with all macronutrient. Now if we talk about a macronutrient are those essential elements which are present in easily detectable quantities, and that is 1 to 10 milligram per gram of dry weight. Now the macronutrient include carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium and magnesium. These are macronutrients. Now if we talk about micronutrient are, that is iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum, zinc, boron, chlorine and nickel. So according to this, D is the correct answer. Next is question 34. Question 34 asks that which of the following statement is correct. We have to select a correct statement. Now if we talk, A is given as plant absorb excess quantity of water. Plant absorb excess quantity of water. It cannot be possible according to the need. It can absorb, others can be lost. B is that plant take a small quantity of water. Plant take a small quantity of minerals along with soil water. So it is a correct, obvious. Small mineral quantity is absorbed along with the water. Option C, water and inorganic salt taken in simultaneously by root hair. It is not like that. Along with water, some minerals can move. Some minerals are specifically directly absorbed by the root region of elongation. So it is not correct. And D is given as plant absorb only one thing at a time, water or inorganic. No, both can go simultaneously. So it is a incorrect. So B is the correct answer, as a variety of mineral element is present in the soil, but all of them are not essential for plant growth, so all cannot be grow within the plant. Next is question 35. Question 35 asks that many transplanted seedling may not survive because many transplanted seedling may not survive because means transplanted means they are transferred from one area to another area. Now if we go options with this, we have to identify a reason. Because, but option A is given, they do not like the new soil. They do not like the new soil. It is not possible because we take care of to transport in the proper soil. B, they do not get required mineral salt. If we transferring, then we should take care of that. Option C, most of the root hair are lost during a transplantation. During transplantation, the loss of root hair can occur due to the damage of this. And D is given as the leaves get damaged. It is not possible. So D is the correct. C is the correct answer. Next is question 36. Question 36 asks that hydroponics are. Now, hydroponics was studied by Julius von Such, and hydroponics is a soil-less cultivation of plants. It is a soil-less cultivation of plants. Now if we go with the option A, growing of aquatic plant growth can occur, but that is not specific hydroponics. B, growing of floating aquatic plant, no. Option C is given as growing of plants in a sand. If sand is used, then is no accordance with the hydroponics. D is given as growing of plant in aqueous balanced nutrients. Growing of plant in aqueous balanced nutrients. So it is correct because in hydroponics the balanced nutrient is given. So D is the correct answer. Next is question 37. Question 37 asks that identify the correct item of force value. Correct item of force value. We have to select the correct. Now option A is given as, now according to the theories, it is known that imbibition pressure is the highest pressure which develop. Now according to that, transpiration pool is lesser than that. Then to lesser a root pressure come, and the list are the adhesive force. So if we go with the correct thing, we have to remember this. This is a fact based question. So D become the answer. That is imbibition pressure is the highest. Then transpiration pool develops. Then root pressure develop. And then adhesion force develops. So D is the correct answer. Next, question 38. Question 38 asks that iron is mainly absorbed in the form of. Now iron is mainly absorbed. Now we remember that it is iron is absorbed by the plant in ferric as well as ferrous state, but metabolically it is active in ferrous state. Metabolically active is ferrous state. So ferrous form is the correct answer. Next is question 39. Question 39 asks that sulfur is an important nutrient for optimum growth and productivity in. Sulfur is important nutrient for optimum growth and productivity in. Now we remember that sulfur is present in all the cells of a body in association with protein made up of sulfur containing amino acids. So it is present in the cysteine and methionine. Now members of cruciferous and animal proteins are rich source of sulfur. Example are cruciferous and animal protein, that is pulses, are a rich source of sulfur. Plant absorbs sulfur in the form of sulfate ion. It is a constituent of pyridoxine and some of the lipids present in the chloroplast. Now family Brassicaceae is due to the presence of sulfur containing oils. So sulfur is important in option A, that is oil seed crops. That is the correct answer which you have to remember. Next is question 40. Now question 40 asks that phosphorus present in structure in below mention of. Now so phosphorus is present in option A. Option A is cell wall and some vitamin. In cell wall carbohydrates are fit and they have no proteins, no phosphorus, so it cannot be there. B is given as some proteins. Yes, some proteins have phosphorus, and all nucleic acid. Yes, nucleic acid have phosphodiester bond, so B can be possible. C, nucleotide and ribosome. Nucleotide can have a phosphorus, but ribosome do not have phosphorus because ribosome are associated with magnesium, not with the phosphorus, so it is incorrect. D is given as some vitamins and nucleotide. Yes, in nucleotide it can be there particular phosphorus, but not in case of vitamin, so it is incorrect. So B is the correct answer. Question 41. Question 41 asks that in the following sentences are not correct for calcium. Not correct for calcium. Now if we go with this, first option is given as calcium is needed during the formation of mitotic spindle. So it is correct, obvious, it is associated with formation of mitotic spindle. Second is given as it is essential for oxygen synthesis. No, it is not essential for oxygen synthesis. Third, it accumulates in older leaves. Yes, correct. Fourth, because in senescent leaves the mobile element can pass and calcium is a mobile element. So third, older leaves correct. It required in differentiated tissue. Yes, it is required in differentiated tissue. And fifth is given as that it involved in synthesis of nucleic acid. Nucleic acid synthesis, calcium is not required. So first, second and third are fourth are correct. Second and fifth are correct. So according to this, second and fifth containing option is option C, and that is the correct answer. Question 42. Question 42 asks that which one of the following scientists used so The scientist who used nutrient culture solution in hydroponic culture ponics culture. So be remember that it is a factor based question. You have to remember the name of the scientist. That is a no. Option D is correct. Next is question 43. Question 43 asks that water reaches the top of the plant due to water reaches the top of the plant due to top of the plant due to the option A root pressure, option B is capillarity, option 3 is transpiration, and option 4 D is diffusion. So in case of root pressure and transpiration, both capillarity works commonly, so capillarity becomes the correct answer. Next is question 44. Question 44 asks that which of the following shows the metabolic energy is required in the absorption of plant? Showing that metabolic energy is required in the absorption of ions. Option A more ion absorption in presence of oxygen. So metabolic energy, if is involved, then there should be a use of ATP and there should be a active absorption. Now option A is given more ion absorption in presence of oxygen. No. Respiration increases. Option B less ion absorption in presence of oxygen. So no relation with the oxygen. More ion absorption in presence of ATP. Now more ion absorption in presence of ATP. So it is correct. Why? Because the absorption ion involving a use of metabolic energy ATP, then it is called as active absorption. Now energy is generally obtained from ATP. Active absorption is linked to the hydrolysis of ATP. So ATP is used in this part. Next is question 45. Question 45 asks that in land plant the guard cells differ from the other epidermal cells in having. In land plant, guard cell differ from other epidermal cell in having option A cytoskeleton, option B mitochondria. If that is a eukaryotic cell, there must be a presence of cytoskeleton, there must be a presence of mitochondria. Option C ER obviously must be present there. D is given as chloroplast. Now the leaf and stem epidermis is covered with the pores called stomata. Part of stomata complex containing a pore surrounded by each side by a chloroplast containing guard cells. So chloroplasts are present in guard cell. Now the guard cells differ from the other epidermal cell in the following aspect, as these guard cells have a bean shaped view while the epidermal cells are irregular in shape. They are bean shaped, whereas other cells, epidermal cells, are irregular shapes, and these guard cells contain a chloroplast. So they can manufacture their food for photosynthesis. So D become the correct answer.